There are so many good horror movies on Disney Plus, but which ones should you watch for spooky season? Let's find out.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
For body horror movie lovers, The Fly from 1986, directed by David Cronenberg, starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. A brilliant yet eccentric scientist working on a teleportation device slowly begins to mutate into a man-fly hybrid after one of his experiments goes horribly wrong. Do you remember the original The Fly starring Vincent Price? Well, you can forget about it because this is a completely different movie. This is a body horror brought to us, of course, by body horror master David Cronenberg. And the graphics, the practical effects in this movie are absolutely otherworldly, but it's far more than just a disturbing body horror movie that was made purely for shock value. This has an absolutely wonderful, intriguing story, and it's brought to life by some great characterization thanks to the legendary cast. We have Jeff Goldblum at his peak. Jeff Goldblum, okay? His quirkiness in this movie is so fantastic. This is a character that is tailored for Jeff Goldblum. Not only that, but you're just drawn to him in the way that Gina Davis finds herself drawn to him in this movie. And at first she's a little bit apprehensive, but when they come together, they really tell a beautiful love story together. And then of course it ends in tragedy. I don't want to give too much away, but Jeff Goldblum's excitement gets to his head a little bit and he rushes an experiment that he shouldn't have done at all. And he pays the price for it, and we have to watch this man and his relationships and his life just deteriorate before our eyes, and it is something of absolute tragedy. This movie will stick with you long after you've seen it, but everything about it is so good. I highly suggest it. There's going to be some really gross moments, but stick it out. Even if they freak you out a little bit, I promise you the story is absolutely exquisite.
It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
For family fun horror, Hocus Pocus, directed by Kenny Ortega, starring Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. A teenage boy, along with his sister and parents, move to Salem, Massachusetts, where he's finding it hard to fit in among the locals. Not respecting the folklore of his new hometown, he inadvertently releases 3 diabolical witches that were executed in the 17th century. What's there to say about a classic Halloween film like Hocus Pocus? I consider this to be absolutely essential viewing around Halloween time. Let me tell you something, baby. Come in closer. If you're in the doldrums, if you have a case of the blues, if you're just not feeling as Halloweeny as you could possibly feel, and you need something to lift those spooky vibes inside of your blackened heart, turn on Hocus Pocus and watch what it does for you, because let me tell you something, this is going to attack you on so many levels. First of all, you have the wonderful nostalgia factor because it follows children. So you are going to instantly be taken back to your childhood. You're going to have Halloween costumes. We're going trick-or-treating, getting all that candy. We're going to Halloween parties. Oh my goodness, we're going to be in school. And then you have the immense fall vibes that it's going to bring you. We are in Salem, Massachusetts with those beautiful turning leaves on the trees just falling down to the ground. You have all that wonderful Halloween decor. And not only that, you summon a few witches who are going to come back and try to steal all the children in the town. I mean, who didn't do that in their childhood, right? Seriously though, this film transcends all age levels. I don't care if you're 4 years old or 70 years old. This is a movie you can turn on at any time, watch it, sit back and enjoy. I promise you, you will feel better for doing it.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Fucking A.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
For alien horror movie lovers, Aliens, directed by James Cameron, starring Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, and Bill Paxton.
That wasn't funny, man.
Ellen Ripley returns as a sole survivor of an alien attack on her ship, the Nostromo, when communications are lost with a human colony on the moon where her crew first encountered the alien creatures. Ripley agrees to return to the site with a unit of colonial marines to investigate. You got you an alien problem, man? You need to learn how to deal with these aliens? Well, let me tell you something. There is no better resource guide than the film Aliens, baby, because this takes everything that was the original and made the original great and dials that bad boy up to 100. You are going to see what these aliens are made out of, because this time we're sending in the big guns, baby. We're sending in the Marines to handle business, and we're going to find out who's tougher, alien or man. But seriously though, man, this movie is so fun, and we finally get to see a lot of action from the alien and really do get to see what these things are made of and just how lethal they can be against an elite squadron like the Space Marines. We also get Ellen Ripley coming back from the original. Now, she is the ultimate scream queen, and I have no reservations about saying that, and you're going to get to see her go into mama bear mode, baby. And that is exactly what the aliens don't want. And you're probably wondering if you can watch this even if you haven't seen Alien, or maybe you haven't seen Alien in a while. Yes, you can, because we get a totally new cast of characters, and these characters are absolutely wonderful. Each of these Marines are memorable in their own way. Bill Paxton puts in the performance of a lifetime. We all need us some Billy Paxton in our life. This truly is an action-packed thrill ride, and I don't use that term loosely. So when you want something that's really entertaining, that's going to hold your attention, and that is a great film, turn on some Aliens and let me know how you feel about it.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
For action-packed horror movie lovers, Predator, directed by John McTiernan, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers. Dutch Schaefer, the leader of an elite paramilitary rescue team on a mission to save hostages in guerrilla-held territory in a Central American rainforest, encounters the deadly Predator, a highly skilled, technologically advanced extraterrestrial who stalks and hunts them down. So you need some more aliens in your life? Well, I'm going to throw down Predator for you, baby, and see how you feel about that. We are going to have the perfect double feature with Aliens and Predator. Not only would we see these two mammoths of horror collide in the future, but before all that, we get to see the Predator collide with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And before you go thinking this is just another throwaway Arnold Schwarzenegger action film, because that's how it starts. This movie is super tricky. You think you're just going to watch another action film where Arnold goes in, blows stuff up, saves the girl, wins the day, right? That's not how things go in Predator. You have an elite team of total badasses being sent into the jungle who are now being hunted themselves by a super advanced extraterrestrial life form. And I'm telling you right now, this, just like the xenomorph in Alien, is one of the coolest looking aliens we have ever seen on film. The design of the Predator is just out of this world, no pun intended. It's like stuff we have absolutely never seen, totally unique. And once again, you are going to find yourself wondering just how advanced this creature is. What is its motives? What does it want? Who will survive? And what will be left of them? You are going to feel like you're trapped in the jungle with this elite squad of warriors yourselves. And will you make it out? We'll see.
I see dead people.
For paranormal horror movie lovers, The Sixth Sense, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Bruce Willis, Haley Joel Osment, and Toni Collette. A child psychologist begins treating a young boy who says that he's able to see and communicate with the dead. I know this movie has been spoofed a million times over, and that may have ruined it for you, but please, if you can, push all that stuff out of your mind. And if you've never seen this movie before, even better. The Sixth Sense is absolutely incredible. You are going to be sucked into the story immediately, which just has this sense, this blanket of dread overlaying the whole film. Something always feels off. You just kind of feel awful while watching it, but it's highly effective. You're going to wonder where this story goes. You're wondering about the kid. You're wondering about the psychologist, and you're just watching their lives unfold, and it just leaves you with this icky feeling, but you just have to keep watching to find out what happens. And M. Night Shyamalan, I know he's very hit or miss with me too, but this is a twist that is worth sticking around for. This is one of his best films, if not his best film. So I highly suggest you check it out, and I guarantee you there are multiple scenes in this one that you will never forget.
You boys all right to get back to the main road?
Yeah, we're fine now that we're not murdered, bro.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
For road trip horror movie lovers, Joyride, directed by John Dahl, starring Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, and Lily Sobieski. 3 young people on a road trip from Colorado to New Jersey must escape Rusty Nail, a psychotic, murderous truck driver they pranked over a CB radio.
You're no black sheep. You really ought to get that fixed.
Get what fixed?
Your tail light.
What started as simple fun is now a fight for survival. All right, get your butt in the car, horror fan, because we are going for a joyride. And I really like this movie because a lot of us older folk, okay, come on, can relate to it. I know you've picked up that phone and made some prank calls you probably shouldn't have made, and I'm sure I'm not going to name any names, but some of us may have hopped into a chat room 1 or 2 good times under a fake name and maybe said some things to some people we shouldn't have said. But this is one of those movies that I think not only is fun, but it's freaking terrifying, and a lot of that comes from the fact that it's so relatable. How many of us have done things like that, pulled pranks on people that maybe we shouldn't have done? And also you get a cross-country road trip thrown in there, which I've been on more than I can count on one hand, and things can go horribly wrong in just driving across the freaking country alone. I can only imagine with somebody like Rusty Nail hot on your trail looking for vengeance. And by the way, did I mention the voice of Rusty Nail that is hounding these poor college kids is none other than Ted Levine coming through on that radio. Could they have picked a more iconic voice in horror? You may all remember him as the voice of Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs. Well, he is not pulling any punches in this one. I think you should turn it in and you will have a non-stop joyride.
Jesus Christ, what happened to you?
In-laws.
For horror comedy movie lovers, Ready or Not, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, starring Samara Weaving and Adam Brody. A bride's wedding night takes a sinister turn when her new husband's in-laws force her to participate in a life or death game of hide and seek. Now, she must survive until morning while they hunt her down with weapons. This is the newest film on the list, and I have to admit I was a bit apprehensive about it the very first time I watched it, but now I love it. I thought, oh, here we go. Another ripoff of The Strangers or You're Next, which I love those movies too. And now I love Ready or Not. Samara Weaving, a modern day Scream Queen, kicks some serious butt in it. It is super funny. We can all relate to her character and her deliveries in this movie. And not only that, but you are going to find yourself just laughing your butt off at the freaking family who is hunting this girl down. That's right. You're going to love the bad guys. That's how good the characterization is in this film. And did I mention that it is super, super gory? The dark humor in this thing mixed with the gore makes it chef's kiss.
Something in the mist! Something in the mist! Cook John Lee!
For monster horror movie lovers, The Mist, directed by Frank Darabont, starring Thomas Jane, Marcia Gay Harden, and Laurie Holden. A group of people become trapped inside a local supermarket after a mysterious mist harboring Lovecraftian-like creatures envelops their small town. When you hear the names Frank Darabont and Stephen King mentioned in the same sentence or on the same title cards, you know you're about to watch something that is absolutely magic. And that is what we get with The Mist. This movie has such great levels of tension and suspense as we watch this community forced together, forced to survive in a grocery store. And I know what you're thinking. At first you're like, well, that could be kind of cool. It could be worse. These people could be secluded. They could be on their own while they're trying to fend off these Lovecraftian monsters. But then you come to realize that, well, being in a communal setting might not be the best thing either, as all of the dynamics start to unfold and all the politics come to the forefront. Who's going to lead? What's going on? Who should we listen to? Those are all questions that are going to have to be answered, and some of these people are very passionate about their opinions, and they're willing to take things to a whole other level. There are going to be characters you absolutely love in this movie and you hope nothing bad happens to, and then there are going to be characters that you have a vehement hatred for. The creatures themselves are absolutely otherworldly, no pun intended. You are going to wonder what in the heck is happening. Where do these creatures come from? How can they stop them? What can they do to survive? Is the world going to freaking end? And then everything crescendos into a finale that you will absolutely never forget. This will be a talking point you have with fellow horror fiends that have watched this movie forever. I promise you, you will all discuss what would you have done.
Mister, would you pay with us?
For disturbing horror movie lovers, The Hills Have Eyes from 2006, directed by Alexander Aja, starring Ted Levine and Aaron Stanford. While traveling through the New Mexico desert, a family's vehicle breaks down, leaving them stranded. Things go from bad to worse when they find themselves in a fight for survival against the cannibalistic mutants who call this area home. Hey, what do you think about that? We get another Ted Levine movie on this list because he plays Bob, the dad, in this film. And apart from that little smirk you're going to get on your face when you see him walk on the screen and you realize who it is, you're going to realize very quickly there's nothing else in this movie that's going to give you the warm and fuzzies, because it is just vile and vicious, man. It is not the most disturbing thing you could possibly watch, but there's a lot of messed up stuff thrown in here, man. Director Alexander Aja was pulling no punches whatsoever. Could you imagine being thrown into the situation this family is thrown in? They think they're on an absolutely amazing vacation together, going to celebrate their wedding anniversary, and then they have killer mutant cannibals coming after them from the mountains. And this is one of those movies where you're going to kind of feel like, well, maybe I should feel bad for the antagonist a little bit. But at the same time, man, you reel that right back in real quick because of just how evil and mean-spirited they are. There's no rooting for them whatsoever. You feel so bad for this family, and you're going to find yourself rooting for some unlikely heroes too. It's so good. It's super gory, super brutal. Don't say I didn't warn you. I want to know what you think about it, so please come back, let me know in the comments. It's a remake. Remakes get a lot of flack from horror fans just purely for existing, but I like it, so please let me know.
We've got to find Jack! There's only 365 days left till next Halloween! 364!
For literally everyone, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Directed by Henry Selick, starring Chris Sarandon, Catherine O'Hara. Music by Danny Elfman. The king of Halloween Town, Jack Skellington, discovers Christmas Town, a place radically different to his own. With newfound inspiration, he decides to bring Christmas to his own town. What can I even say about this movie? It is such a classic. We have Chris Sarandon, fellow West Virginia boy baby, go Mountaineers. And we have Catherine O'Hara, who if you're a horror fan, you can't help but love this woman. And the music by Danny Elfman is absolutely iconic. This is the same guy who gave us the Simpsons theme song. He gave us the Tales from the Crypt theme song. He gave us this entire freaking soundtrack. And this is one of those movies where the soundtrack might even be more popular than the movie itself. And the claymation is just a spectacle. When's the last time you seen anything made with claymation? No one had seen it in freaking decades when The Nightmare Before Christmas came out, and it shows because it has just left a legacy. It has left an impact on children and people of all ages. This is one of those movies that you can go back and watch no matter how young or how old you are. This transcends age limits. It transcends times. It transcends places. The cozy feeling you get from this movie, you just feel like you could be one of the citizens of Halloween Town. Oh my goodness, I'm just getting goosebumps even talking about it. I'm going to go watch it right now, so I highly suggest you check it out too. But before you go, is there anything on Disney Plus that I should be watching? I just spent this whole video giving you great horror movie recommendations. It's time for you to return the favor. Come on, throw a bone to your good buddy Bo here and let me know if there's something I should watch. Leave it in the comments below. And if there's something on the list that you checked out for the first time, please come back. Let me know what you think. And if there's something that, hey, I reminded you of a movie that you freaking love and you need to go check out right now, that works too. Just leave a comment. You know what? All I'm saying is talk to me. Please, come on, horror fam. I need more people to talk horror with. That's the name of the channel. That's all I want. Or just say hi.